Hey, South Carolina fans, welcome back to another episode of Alumni Game. Me and Sam Niedermeyer, class of '06, Mike Ritchie, class of '06. Missing Buster again, missing that guy. He is
RIP.
getting busy for the holiday, like all of us will be soon. This episode may come around Thanksgiving or on the day or after the day, so just for that. But he's hosting and he's got a lot of people at his house, and we were like, "Oh man, get the family on." And I was like,
Yeah.
No, I don't know." A little chaotic. I'm picturing like Clark Griswold with the Newell Post. Um, but happy to be back. Happy to have a win after Coastal. Real get right game there. Dropping a 50 burger, which is pretty nice. Watch our episode from last week if you want to see the lead up to that. I'm not gonna lie, Sam, we were a little nervous, right? We were like the tiniest bit nervous, and
We,
I feel like they kind of did everything we wanted them to do. I mean, we'll recap that, but we don't have to harp on it. But how are you feeling after that and
ha
going into this week?
had him on upset alert, and after the first, two series, you got the sense of like, all right, like the entire season's frustrations are going to be taken out on Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. Offense looked in rhythm, looked great. Let's
Yep.
carry that over to Clemson.
Yeah. So we're gonna recap a little more than that, but yeah. Yeah, no, I think for me, you're totally right. I mean, seeing this sellers to sellers, that has been
That's
something
fun.
that really seems to get Lenore's going. I was highly impressed at the number of people that rushed the ball for us, 11 total, including almost every quarterback on the roster. Interesting to say the least.
Yep.
Really being able to run the ball really does feel like we'll get to it later about the season, but offensive line has stepped forward into an improved category. Running game has improved. Obviously, everything improves against Coastal, but I think what was really notable, Coach hit on. Coach is funny when they get him on the sidelines, he'll just go and go and go. Like
Hmm.
the reporter doesn't even get to ask anything or say much, and he kind of holds his head back and like really gets into it. And some things he said, he was concerned coming off of that second half. We were concerned. That's a gut punch. It's a nut breaker. It's like, how are you going to come back after that? And they
Yeah.
did. And then he was very intense about the shutout that was happening. He was like, "That's important to us. We want to keep that." They didn't, obviously. Defensively, they did, right? Because didn't Coastal score on a run back?
Man, I gotta be honest with
Special
you.
teams.
By the time it was the fourth quarter, I switched it over to UCLA and
Yeah, yeah,
USC and
that was
Oregon. I think another game too that was on. I didn't watch another game, but I had switched it at that point, so I missed it
yeah. No,
unfortunately.
it's all good.
I
So
I was
Coastal.
very sorry. Go ahead.
No, they did score just to have it. They did score in the fourth quarter, and it was a
Kick return?
off of a punt return, I
Oh, punt
believe.
return.
Um,
I was
yeah, no,
actually
they blocked and returned.
block and
Yeah,
return. I gotta
yeah,
be one thing that was so I was impressed by how the players responded. Very impressed by how the fans responded. Not a whole lot of empty seats there. And
yeah.
the game was on the SEC network, which is really cool. I didn't think it was going to be on the SEC network. And my
Yep.
dad texted me like, hey, by the way, Gamecocks are on TV. I was like, what? I got to get home and watch them,
Yeah.
right? Like
And Coastal showed up too. That they got that rocking that teal is very easy to
they did. I
spot
love their
as
uniforms,
fans.
by the way.
Yeah.
I love the color and the color scheme of their uniforms. But I was very impressed with the fans in South Carolina. They showed up true as they are. Cheered the team on hard. Of course, it was senior
Yeah.
day. Um, but that's nothing new. We've been through a lot of the ups and especially a lot of the downs. And the fans showed up. They were really cheered the team on. Very impressed. Very happy to be a Gamecock to see the fans come out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, look, it doesn't wash away the sins of the father
Sure.
or whatever. Like this season definitely
But
has
it's in the
us.
past now. Just they came
Yeah,
in, the fans
yeah,
came, they cheered hard, very impressed. Like the fans have been I've been very impressed with the fans all season.
yeah. And I mean, hey, pat yourself on the back too. I mean, we say it like this is sort of what we're built for. We know it can happen. We don't like it to happen. We hope it wasn't gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, we get down and we got to dig ourselves out, and we are. And I think, we talked about finishing strong. We're halfway there. We got one more game on the schedule.
Yep.
Let's finish recapping this one. We'll just dive right into that because I know we want to hate player haters ball over here. But yeah, so final on Coastal 51-7, very nice offensive showing. The only score given up special teams play, which is rare obviously for coach. Lots of rushing. Like we said,
Lots.
264 yards, 11 players running the ball, something like 6.8 yards per carry. Very, very nice. And then real nice day to get right with 23 seniors being honored. Some of the bigger ones we were noting in our pregame show, a couple running backs, Faison and Attaway.
Yep.
So it's really nice to see the guys like Fuller we got coming up for next year. We're ready there. Obviously, we'll take what comes in the transfer portal, but I'm feeling pretty good at running back into 2026. And then on the defense, a couple of big names. Uh, BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr. on the edge. He's taken off. He's graduating. And DQ Smith, DB. And then randomly, we kind of noted on this just because mid game is a big one. Cole Rasmussen, the long snapper. So they'll
Yeah.
have to kind of get that and make sure that's right. Obviously, special teams is a big one for Coach Beams. So,
And you
um,
mentioned JT Gear. He's a senior also. Is he senior also?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's not easy being a backup edge guy coming in, but Brian Thomas, obviously, like he's the starter and he's looked great this year, and I expect him to be called on the NFL draft, right? JT Gear has put in a lot of solid snaps right behind him, and he's come in on the defensive line. So shout out to him. Obviously, I don't know if he'll get drafted. He might get like maybe a rookie practice squad
Yeah, it could be like a UDFA
signing. Yeah,
type.
it could be one of
Yeah.
those things, but he's shown a lot of effort, shown really good. 264 rushing yards, by the way. Best rushing game by far. It was against
Hmm.
Coastal, but Coastal does have 6 wins. They're going to a bowl game. So, it was really much Lenoris looked fluid. He looked like he had time. When you give him time, he started becoming the better passer that we all thought he wanted him to be. Just a complete win. It was over by basically the third series. I think it was what 21-0 after the third
Yeah,
series.
yeah. I mean, there were a couple like Coastal had a couple things going, but once you saw Lenoris hitting and
Yeah.
hitting a few
Hitting
guys,
his
and
brother. His brother had a couple great runs, and then he had a couple
yeah,
great runs after the catch. Jaden looked amazing.
yeah, and that's interesting, right? Because that feels like, and we'll talk about this, close to the end of the episode, but that feels like a reason for Lenore's to stay, right? To like
I
continue
hope
that
so.
and like, well, I mean, it drops his value too. If he goes and his brother stays, is his brother going to keep playing or be a part of things? I think he would, but would he be as big a part of things? Maybe not. We'll see, how that goes. So, kind of rolling this into the season now with only one game left. We kind of wanted to take this season snapshot here. What have we been? What were we supposed to be? What are we? A lot of these themes are stuff we've talked about every week with the O line, with injuries and bad coaching. Look, it really does feel like if you could hit the reset and start over week one without Shula, I think we have two more
Yeah.
wins. I think we win one of those games where we blew a lead. I think we probably win A&M, and maybe we got a bigger shot at Alabama. And if we do that, we're sitting with a bowl game and competitive in the SEC. Now, I don't want to put it all on Shula. Players play the game, but play calling looked better, more efficient. Furry was able to settle down and get a complete game in here, which I really like, which gives me a lot of confidence for next week. Um, Offensively, I don't think we took a lot of steps forward. I mean, I feel like Van Vandrevius was hot for a while. Um, you know, we had one or two receivers hit off here or there, but Harbor never really got where we wanted him to go, and he was kind of hurt for this game. Dylan Stewart did not dress as well, so a couple other guys were not in there. That'll be interesting to see who does not dress for the Clemson game. I feel like we could be missing a couple of guys. We'll see. We'll update that if we have more info there. But still, not a ton of identity. We have Lenoris. We can run the ball. We play good defense. Outside of that. I don't see a lot else for
It,
identity, which
I,
is a shame. But
it's possible you win 3 more games or 4 more games because look at this. The offense was just so conservatively called all year under Mike Shula. It was just so conservatively called. We're
in
running
bad
runs up the
situationally,
middles.
like in this
Well,
situation, you don't run that
like,
play. Yeah,
Lenore Sellers is an aggressive type quarterback. Let's play to those strengths. Let's go a little bit more aggressive. We saw some of that play calling with Furry where he's throwing out like kind of play action rolls to the right. He's put him in the pocket a little bit more. You're not running these like scheme type of West Coast like slants. Like, no, he's an aggressive quarterback. He's gonna hit home runs or he's gonna strike out. Let's just do that. Let's just
yeah,
game plan for that. We don't need to make him into this perfect passing quarterback when he could run for 60 or take a sack for 10.
Right. Or 20. He
Unfortunately,
was taking some big sacks at times.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the play calling under Mike Shula was just way too conservative. Running the ball, we ran the ball way too much than we should have. We should have been a little bit more aggressive throwing the ball and trying to give a little time on rollouts. But look, um, yeah, everybody wants it back. Looking at the snapshot on the season, it wasn't just that. I was actually very happy with the defense this year. Defense is actually like they balled out. They balled out pretty
Yeah.
well. We had a lot of guys
Yeah.
come in that played well. The linebackers specifically, Fred J.R. Johnson played amazing. Sean Murphy had a great game against Coastal Carolina. Justin Okoronkwo has been
Yeah, we
playing
didn't
really
name a lot
well.
of names that are leaving. So, like last
Yeah,
year, we had a mass exodus, and we were worried about that. Defense played
there's
well, and a lot of those guys will be back next year. So, I'm
well,
feeling
we
pretty
hope
good.
so.
Like
We
I
hope so,
said,
right? Because there's still like the NIL, but I
oh
mean.
yeah, oh yeah. But I
Offense was
think,
just a
look,
complete circus, dude. I mean, Michael Smith departed. We're getting rid of offensive line coach. We're getting rid of offensive coordinator. Absolute circus on offense. That's the entire season.
yes, but I do think. I mean, look, I think there's a chance that Furry could stick, right? I think you play good, you play well enough next week, and there are going to be exit interviews after that. Shane has said like he's done a bad job hiring, and if Furry's two and oh basically, well, and then one good half, against A&M, that's a better resume than a lot of other guys he's going to bring in, and you don't want to shift it again. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the odds are on that, but I think Furry sticking gets players to stick. I think players on the defense are going to stay. I don't know about offense. That all depends on Lenoris, but I think if Lenoris likes Furry and he wants him to stay, and that's a reason to stay, and his brother's there too, and he wants to stay for Shane, those are three big reasons to stay. Not, and then the fourth one for me being that you can get a reset on this season. We won't have a preseason ranking. There won't be a lot of hype on us. You can just play your schedule, and you got to think that our schedule next year is going to be a little bit easier than
We're not
this
going
year.
to be playing six straight top 11 teams. I can tell
Right.
you that.
Right.
Or
So
five
I
straight,
feel
excuse me,
like
five straight.
anything can happen, but I think I like to think the stars are aligning here for Sellers. So maybe we'll talk more about that. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll do another episode on that. We have more info on that.
We should do a season recap episode next week and just kind of talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely unpack Clemson, and that'll be the season. And then I was wondering, if there is separate news about Sellers, maybe we'll do a mini one on him. But you guys let us know what you want to hear the most about. A little bit of updates for the program itself. We mentioned last week 200
How
subscribers.
about
Woo!
that?
I think we also hit 70 videos, so that's pretty cool. That's like 10 touchdowns. That's pretty nice. Um, and we're rolling, and we
200,
want to
baby.
hear more from you guys too. Comments are like gold to us. They put us to sleep at night. They're like our little blanket. And we want to know what else you guys want to see on the program too. And obviously, with only two hosts, we need bodies like the Gamecocks do. So let us know what you guys like, what you want to hear more about. If you know something better than we do, we want to hear about it. But let's get into this rivalry. So we got Clemson at home, probably biggest game of the year, any year, just in general, even if it doesn't matter. We fucking love this game. Amazing that we can have it at home. Um, Obviously, already some lead up to this activity with seniors last week, taking care of them. That's great. We'll talk about the Tiger Burn, a tradition in Carolina, as in effigy. But this one's kind of fun. We got noon on Saturday after Thanksgiving. Will be on ESPN, which is kind of awesome. Not a lot going on for both of us. I mean, we can't get a bowl game. I don't know. I guess Clemson will have a bowl
They
game.
will. They
It probably
will.
improves them there. Maybe the Pop Tarts Bowl or something. Um, but give me some stats on this one before we get too far into it, Sammy.
Oof, yeah, we got some stats. So right now, South Carolina is a 2.5 point favorite. The model gives South Carolina a 63.6% chance of winning. But you want to hear something funny? This game opened up with South Carolina being a 2.5 point underdog, and in the span of an afternoon, it had flipped a complete 4 points to 2.5 favorite, right? Or at least 1.5, and I think the next day went to 2.5. So um, everyone likes South Carolina right now. They're the hot ticket. Clemson 6-5. Obviously, they're in the ACC. All-time series, Clemson 73-4 has gone 73-44-4. Shane Beamer, Dabo Sweeney, 2-2 against each other. Here's the big thing though. So Clemson's won three straight. They started off 3-5. They won three straight against FSU, Louisville, and Furman. Last week, obviously, South Carolina got their first win since September 27th. You believe that? All of October, most of November.
Yeah,
Um,
not Cocktober this
and
year.
Cocktober just didn't do well this year.
Just flaccid,
Th
completely
this is
flaccid.
the first time since 2013 that South Carolina is a favorite in this game. Believe that or not.
Don't, I mean, you got to think it's Sellers and that we've gotten right and just the quality of opponent.
Or
I
that
mean,
Clemson is just
Louisville and
that bad this
FSU,
year.
okay, but Furman, arguably Coastal is better than Furman. Um,
Yeah, that was a particular that was kind of a close game that they played. Furman
yeah,
kind of played Clemson close a little bit that first
yeah,
half and then into that third quarter before Clemson took away with it. Forecast going to be high 40s, low 50s. Should be a beautiful day. Noon at Williams-Brice Stadium. So this is a really similar matchup with at the beginning of the year. Both teams had offenses that were expected to be like blowing it out, solid defenses, and the offense has been stuttering all year. Defense has been playing solid, but this is
yeah.
a game that's like almost mirroring like one another. Obviously, Clemson has statistically a better offense, but they've been playing in little brother ACC,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, look, it feels a lot like last year. I know there were bigger stakes because we were both hitting at the playoff, but we're both in a similar spot. I think we're both in a similar spot now. I had a sinking feeling that this was going to come down to like who's going to play for their coach. I don't
Right.
think either coach is on the line here. I do think if Dabo drops the second one to South Carolina, they will think about it.
Second one
But
straight, third overall.
yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
since
Even
Shaver got
then, I
there.
mean, unless we crush them and Dabo has no answers and is basically crying on the sideline, I don't see him getting let go.
Can you see a scenario in which one team blows out another team in this game?
Not really, not really, just because we know each other so well
Yeah.
and fan bases know each other so well. I mean, even the fans know each team so well. Um, I do think there's been a little bit of a dearth of talent for Clemson for some reason. I think on the page, I think we're more talented. And I think we played way better teams all year. So I think we play to that. So I think it is possible after last week. But I just think also the way we've come out at halftime sometimes, we can dominate a first half, doesn't matter than the second half. And Clemson, Dabo's a good coach in that way. He's going to make adjustments. He's not going to let it be the same. Even if they're down 30 at half, he's going to do the best he can to come back. So could it be a blowout for a little while for one team? Maybe, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's fairly close. And maybe a team has a couple of score lead, but not like blowout territory.
I'm
Um,
just really happy the game's not in Clemson and we don't have to sit and watch them take the bus for
I know I
45
hate that.
seconds around
And then when they come
and then
down with the
walk
rock,
for
and
like
then
10, 15, 20 minutes as if they're like, taking over
yeah,
the world. And it's like, yeah, all right, let's get the show on the road here.
and we were talking about some basically non-news from Dabo that both teams agreed they will not flag plant at the end of the game, which kind of happened last year, which we were doing, and kind of feels like you said this, like that's nice and everything, but it's not really a story. It's something that
Yeah.
could have been done privately. Just don't do that, and that it came from Dabo with no quotes from Beamer. It
Yeah.
said that Dabo talked to Beamer and they both agreed, like, yeah, okay, fine.
Don't
We're
even
not
bring
going
it
to
up ahead
plant
of
a
time.
flag in our own stadium. Obviously, there's already one up there and one
Yeah.
behind me.
Big nothing burger
So
there. That's just him trying to generate some attention. That's
I don't mind
Dave
it because of
Dabo
the
just needs
rivalry.
attention at all. He's like a 16-year-old schoolgirl. He just needs attention at all times. That's how he thrives
Yes,
and
but
lives.
I think when the attention is to not have a fight at the end of the game and be avoiding that, it is well played. We were at Clemson, um I would have wanted Beamer to say the same thing. Basically, that would have been our article. It
Don't
would have
even
been
say it ahead of
Beamer.
time. Just say it to
Yeah,
the players and that's it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. It doesn't need to
Don't
be
need to
like
make a story
proclaimed.
out of it.
Yeah.
Now you're just giving
Um,
now you're just giving bulletin board material, right? Now you're just giving bulletin board material to all the players in South Carolina. Hey, guess what? We got Clemson. Not only that, but they think they're going to win and plant a flag. They
plant
said,
their
no,
flag.
no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
we're not going to plant a flag. That's all he's doing right now,
yeah,
and I'm happy
yeah,
for it. I'm here for it.
yeah,
At least that's
yeah.
the
It's
way I
fine.
read
Yeah,
it.
it's fine. So getting into the nitty gritty here, our offense versus their defense. What does Furry have to do here? He's got to protect. Obviously, got to give Lenoris a pocket, or at least be rolling Lenoris in the right way. That if the pocket isn't really there, that he's rolling out a little bit and throwing on the run. I think we like that. That's something a little bit better. I'd like to see some designed runs here. I don't think Clemson can handle that. Second and short, third and mid could be the time to do that. Um, And seeing what you think here, like how conservative versus how aggressive, where's the sweet spot to getting over on this Clemson defense for you, Sam? Like really go for it, longer
Yeah,
plays,
no, I think
vertical, or a little more
you just gotta be
horizontal, spread them out.
aggressive, right? There's Clemson's run defense isn't that bad. They're pretty good. Our run offense has been crap all year, with the exception against Coastal Carolina. Our passing offense has been kind of crap, but a little bit better. I think the way you handle this is you make the Clemson skill players on defense play defense, right? You make the defensive backs cover Sellers. You make them cover Nick Harbor. You make them cover Van Travius Jacobs. You make them cover Brian Rowe, and you just spread it out and give the ball as quickly as possible to those playmakers. Because I don't think Clemson's defensive their secondary skill players can match up one on one. Now they might play some zones, but I just don't see it happening. They got a really good defensive line, right? I don't even want that. Like, so get the ball out of Lenore Sellers' hands
Quickly.
quickly. Get
Yeah, a
out of
couple
there
seconds.
quickly. Yep. Like run the spread, run some screens quickly,
Screens,
and
tight
then just
ends, running backs.
at that point, run a few deep and like take a shot every now and then. It's okay. It's okay if you go to 3rd and 10. It's all right because we're an explosive, like Lenore Sellers is an
Yeah.
explosive type
Get the
guy.
crowd in it early too.
Yeah,
That'll
yeah,
be
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. So be aggressive. I like the play calling against Coastal Carolina. They were aggressive then. They came out throwing. I like to see that again. Then they got into a comfort zone of running the ball. I don't know. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think I do want. I mean, I do want to be aggressive. I don't necessarily want to throw on first down, but I do want to. I want to throw a little more than we run. But I want to see what the running game gives us early. If Fuller's ripping off runs, then I think you just let him go. Um, we're working it. We worked in a couple other running backs last week. Maybe a couple of those guys get some run. I don't expect to see a lot of Faison, but he's still on the squad and he's still got one more game to be a Gamecock, so we'll see about that. But yeah, I would like to see a little more pass catching out of the running back room. I think space along the boundary, like you said, spreading out that defense so they're not in packs of tigers. I think one on one we can beat almost every tiger. I think in groups, like you
Yep.
said, or in the zone or a certain blitz package, they might be able to get to Sellers. So get it out of there quickly. And like I said, maybe even have some designed runs for him to rock some people early would be kind of awesome. He seems to do well when he gets some contact and sort of really feels it, almost like a kicker doing the smelling salts right before,
Yeah. 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 Like,
Um,
hey, what are you talking about here? What
the
do
other
you
way
got?
around, I'm excited to see what this defense can do. I think assuming everybody plays, Stuart Thomas, everybody, I think we will work those edges. I think we can get inside. I'm a little worried that they can move the chains a lot and like kick a lot. But that should be okay. I mean, if we're playing a little more aggressive and we're holding them to field goals, that should go our way. Even if we're down early, like 6-0, we can easily take a lead with one score. So, I think yeah, between the 20s, fine. Definitely push a little for turnovers. Just like every other week, winning at the point of attack, like getting them to three and outs, and keeping it clean, keeping it clean. Don't let
Mhm.
emotion get you here. This may be your last game. This may be your bitter rival, in-state rival. Do not let emotion get the better of you here. We are still getting penalized. I think we had like 5 for 63 last week. That's not terrible, but get it down. If you can get it down and keep control of those emotions, that can be a big edge to winning this game. Every year is a big edge to winning this game.
Yeah, Clemson's still got some weapons there at receiver, particularly wide receiver Brian Wesco. Surprised, I think he was a sophomore last year. I'm surprised he came back and didn't go pro, but he's a baller. His numbers are down from last year, and Cade Klubnik, despite him being a Heisman hopeful at the beginning of the year, his numbers are still pretty good. He's still a fairly accurate quarterback. I don't think he's taking the ball deep anymore. I really want to watch who plays on Brian Wesco. Is it going to be Kilgore? Is it going to be Cisse? Both those guys have looked really good, but Kerry Swain also could be stepping back there, maybe in a cover two type position. Maybe he looks to
Hmm.
return one. I like our linebackers and I like our defensive backs in this game. Defensive line, with the exception of like they'll have a plan for Dylan Stewart. I have no doubt that the Clemson offensive coordinator and Dabo Sweeney will have a plan for Dylan Stewart. It's gonna be Brian Thomas. What does he do? Because I think Dylan Stewart's gonna match up. Is gonna
Yeah.
have a couple double teams on him. So I'm intrigued to see if Brian Thomas can come in off the edge on the front side of Cade Klubnik. Maybe Jalen Kilgore drops back on some spur positions there
Yep.
to help double Bryant Wesco there. But you still got to watch out for Antonio Williams. I think this is a very similar matchup. I think both teams play. They both want to play the same. They both want to run the ball, but they also their strength is passing the game, specifically this year. And they have phenomenal skill position players on both sides of the ball. It's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a really close game. I'm excited to
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I like that
Clemson
you
is a team we
mentioned
hate.
I like that you mentioned Wesco because I want to pivot a bit. I mean, what do you think about TJ Moore though? Right? He's kind of their leading guy. 40 receptions, 650 plus yards, four TDs.
Four touchdowns.
Um,
Yep.
so I mean, he would be kind of the guy I'd be looking at. And an average receiving 16.3 like per catch feels pretty big.
Yeah.
But you kind of feel like Wesco is the guy that
I think Wesco is the guy. I think he's got more big play capabilities. He's a better route runner and more catch. He just sees more double teams this year. That's why his numbers are down. That's just my
right,
opinion.
right, right, right. And that's what's opened
Williams
up
is pretty
TJ a
good
little bit.
too, but he's more of a slot possession guy on third down. So you got to watch out for him on third
Yeah,
downs.
he's only
TJ Moore,
6'3", 200. He's not huge. Yeah.
right? He's like this. Yeah. TJ Moore certainly is their second best wide receiver or first best, depending on stats. But Brian Wesco is the guy that really scares me. He's huge. And he's got big play capabilities. He reminds me of this. Don't hate, but he reminds me of like a Larry Fitzgerald type. He's 6'2", 180, deceptively good route running, and he can catch anything. He's a
Yeah.
baller. He's a baller. We're
Yeah.
gonna have to
Yeah. We'll
plan
watch
for him.
both those. And then I was just keeping an eye on their running back has been fairly good too. What's his name? Randall. 133 carries, 8 TDs. He's like at almost 700 yards, so he probably won't hit a
Mhm.
thousand. And an in-state guy too, so I think he
Yep.
wants to do well here. He's from Myrtle Beach.
They get real good running backs. They have obviously the guy that's on the Jaguars now, right? He was at Clemson. They've got good running backs that come up and
Oh,
play.
Travis Etienne. Yeah, yeah.
Etienne, thank you. I was trying to think like who's
Yeah, and his brother's in the league now too. I think
yep.
he was at NC State or something like that.
So
Um,
they've got some ballers. They want to run the ball. I like our linebackers. I really do. I think Fred J.R. Johnson's got a good hold on the
yep.
defense. I think a Conqueror comes in. Sean Murphy's a big hitter. I think our linebackers are serviceable. They played really well. Specifically, the interior defensive line for the Gamecocks hasn't been particularly great. We kind of figured that was going to be the case. You
Yep.
imagine Troy Pikes and is going to step up next year, but um, it's going to be up to Brian. Brian Thomas is really going to have a big game.
Yes.
That's what it
Yep.
comes down to. I think Dylan Stewart will play Dylan Stewart type football, but like they're going to have a plan for him, right? So I think Brian Thomas is going to have to be the X factor in
Yeah.
Philly.
I think if you do everything you want to do defensively versus Clemson, then that's what you need. If you are able to slow the run and they are getting to throwing quite a bit because they're behind the sticks, they're going to look for Wesco. They're going to look for more. And if those guys are covered and can get a hand on the ball or even just disrupt the timing, that's going to be great. And I think we know that from Klubnik, and I think we know how to get in his head. And I think if we can make it seem like it's his receivers that aren't doing the work, he's going to get frustrated, and we're going to get him. And
And
that's when pick six or fumble six or something like that,
I
could
think
be
this
there.
specifically where Brian Thomas needs to be involved is swatting balls at the line of scrimmage. I think that's going to be if he can force some miss incompletions and like tip some balls like at least two or three. That's a good day for South Carolina. I think he's going to have to tip two or three, maybe four.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're dragging the highlighter across Brian Thomas's name for sure.
Yeah.
Going to be looking for his name a lot. Um, so then getting into, special teams, edges, X factors here. Beamer ball, definitely a factor. We definitely want to see more of Akari Swain. That feels like a million years ago that
Gosh,
he
doesn't it?
ran all those back, and you got to think
Yeah.
he's thinking the same. So hopefully there's something schemed that way, to get him the ball to maybe open up some space. It does seem like this lists as an SEC game because we're at home and it's on the SEC network. So I got to think that it's SEC officials.
I think it's
I might be
ESPN. I think
wrong.
it's on ESPN.
Right, but what does that mean for the officials? I know Buster would be pointing to this right now. Is it is
Oh,
it
good
is it
call.
third party officials? Like is it Big Ten or something because it's ACC, SEC, or does it get to be SEC because we're at home and it's on the SEC network? I'm not sure. If you know, feel free to weigh in the comments. if officiating's a thing, then we mentioned it, even though I don't know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's got to be a since it's a home game. Okay, the officiating crew for South Carolina versus Clemson has not been announced yet.
Well, there you go. So it could be anything. It's not us, and it's not.
I mean, it
I
could be
guess
us.
that.
We could lobby for it to be us.
Yeah. All right. I'll lobby.
Tell our
I'll
subscribers.
hang
We
out
got
in the lobby.
200 now. Let's sign a
I mean,
petition.
it definitely is something to mention it. We've mentioned it before on the show. That
Yeah,
can be an X
Buster's our
factor. It
guy for
usually
that.
is. We come up with some weird X factors that hit sometimes. Sometimes it's a weather delay. Sometimes it's the officiating crew. It's not usually turf versus grass. We won't get into that. But look, the rivalry emotion is obviously huge. We're going to be riding high at home. We're going to come out huge with 2001 to start, and we don't have to deal with all the busing and the rock and all the other shit they do in Death Valley. Um, do expect it to be very, very loud. Do expect both teams to just throw out the records. Don't care. It's a day at the ball field. And how do both coaches handle? I mean, to me, that's the real matchup on the board, like on the chessboard, king versus king. Brian Thomas is maybe a rook moving around, and Vakari Swain is a pawn that can go long. But the kings on the board, they're making all the decisions. They're playing for their year. Clemson to improve a bowl game and flip the script on us from last year. Beamer to end right, bring his staff into the next year, and hopefully keep a lot of these players on the roster. So, I mean, internally for both teams, a lot at stake. I think the coaches have the most at stake, if you ask me. Dabo's probably fine, but Clemson fans aren't going to want to talk about another loss to South Carolina
Yeah.
in another year in a row. And a win from Beamer goes a long way. It doesn't fix things, but he's at least doing that right. And it starts to feel like, geez, if the Gamecocks were in the ACC, they might have 7, 8 wins this
Yeah,
year.
right.
Um, we're not. We don't want to be. So I don't even, I don't even know why I go there. But just to say that when you put us up against each other, we're playing top 10 every week. They're playing the Dukes and Furmans and NC States of the world. It's a different thing. It's if we can win into next year, it's going to be a much easier path for us to get to the playoff. I mean, Clemson basically has to go undefeated these days to think about getting up in there.
No, they'll win I mean, they could win four non-conference games do you mean undefeated in the ACC? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, kind
Yeah,
of.
okay,
I mean,
my
I just
bad. My
think
bad.
the
Yeah.
ACC is very competitive this year, but Georgia Tech's been great.
Mm.
Syracuse has played good games. Miami's been really good. That may not be the
All
case
those
next year, but
teams would
I
get
think Miami
murdered
will
in
be
the
that good
SEC.
again.
Like
What?
Georgia Tech would get murdered in the SEC.
Oh,
Like,
yes, but they could still potentially beat a Kentucky, every now and then beat a
yeah.
Florida type. They would up
It's
their
like
game
not
every
fair that
week.
we play six teams ranked top, five teams ranked in the top 11, 5 straight weeks. It's
It's yeah,
like
it's what you sign up for, I
it
guess. I
is. I
don't know.
mean, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah. So, I don't want to go immediately to predictions. I guess scenario wise with this game, we're basically saying if it's our ideal game, we're coming out aggressive. We maybe even have the ball first. If not, it's a strategic situation to, get it at half again, whatever. Um, Special teams hopefully as an edge, crowd as an edge, trying
Yeah.
to throw them off sides. Um,
I'm
like we
I'm
said,
I'm intrigued by the home field. I think the home field advantage comes through again.
well, and that's not that way every year. I mean, we did win this at Death Valley last year. Obviously, different squad, probably better defense. Obviously, much more organized on offense. But I also think Furry's got a lot to build on here. The tape from last year, tape from the last few weeks of Clemson, knowing what he did wrong in the second half versus A&M, I think is great too. Can learn a lot and practice a lot for that. Everything else is kind of even, right? Weather, records kind of don't
Yeah.
weigh into it. Um, what are you feeling here? I think what I'd like to do here is more talk first half, second half, and then predictions because I just feel like we've been a tale of two halves like every week. I know not versus Coastal, but I'd really like to see us play well in both halves, and I'd like to see us come out strong in the second half more than anything. Do you feel like if you had to pick between starting real strong and winning the third quarter into the fourth quarter, do you have a preference? Like, does one chalk up better
No,
against
I'm not
Clemson?
like I don't. I mean, a win's a win. Like whether you start out and score 21 points and then
And
they
then
score
Clemson slowly
seven and
coming back.
they slowly come back and you still win, I don't care if you storm back. Obviously it makes for more fun, but either way, it's the end result will be great.
Yeah, yeah,
I would rather it be a blowout so that I can enjoy like everything. We win like 35 nothing. I think I just sit back and relax and enjoy it and just laugh.
yeah,
But I'm not
yeah. That'd be
like,
nice. Yeah,
like, and obviously coming back it would be fun. That would be probably more fun to watch as a fan.
yeah, yeah. To see
But no,
us come back to do it.
just
Yeah.
as long as you win, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, yeah. I think for the fans, I'd like to see us come out early and have it be loud and stay loud. Close is fine. I do think if it's real close, I think you'll see some wrinkles, some wrinkles on special teams. Maybe I'll be honest. You're gonna hate me for saying this, but I would love to see Carolina do a little bit of what the Giants did the other day against the Lions. If I could see Sellers catch a pass from his brother the other way around, like if that could happen. But I also just think Sellers in the open field catching a pass could truck someone for a touchdown, much like Jameis almost did the other day. When I
It,
saw that play, I basically thought to myself, Sellers could do that. And that was insane to watch. Jameis Winston may be the most fun to watch right now, even though he doesn't win.
yeah,
Um,
it would be a Carolina thing that they would do that. Lenore Sellers would be wide open, and then he would like tear an ACL and fumble the ball at the
oh yeah, yeah,
sideline.
I hear you. Yeah,
Like
health is a thing. Yeah, health is a thing.
that would just be the most Carolina thing ever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're not trying to manifest that.
Of
All right.
course
I
not.
think look, I've
Of
milked it
course
long
not.
enough. I'm just trying to, I love this rivalry. This is one of the most fun games I love seeing, regardless of the records. I feel like it's a lot like these NFL division games where you can just throw the records out. Every now and then my Pats play the Jets, and the Jets are like 0 and 500. Doesn't matter. Jets could still beat us. Anything can happen in this game. I think it might. I'm looking forward to it. I'm thinking a little more scoring. I'll go first. I think a little more. I think we are going to give up a couple touchdowns, maybe one late, but I think we score a few more. I'm actually going bigger than I thought. I'm going to go 31-14. I
Ooh,
think we kick a
really?
little early, which bumps the score, and then I think we keep things on late. Even if we are up and somehow Sellers comes out, I think maybe a Cutter Woods or an Aaron Nolan could still get a tutty too, and I think that would be awesome going into next year just in case. I don't think a win or a loss does a ton. I think it will influence Sellers one way or the other. I think I think a loss would potentially send Sellers packing because would just be like, I'm done with this. But I think more work with his brother, if that is real and wasn't just a spark last week and turns into a fire this week and Sellers to Sellers goes off, I think that's a big reason to stay. And I think that's something we got to think about. And they're going to talk about during the game, obviously. They'll talk about where he's projected with the other quarterbacks. Both of these quarterbacks, right? Klubnik's a senior, right? Or
He'll go
or at
pro.
least
Klubnik will
gonna
go
go
pro.
probably
Yeah, I just get the sense that he's going to come back regardless. I think it's been an awful season for him. I
for
think he
Klubnik.
probably no, I'm talking about Sellers.
Sellers.
I think
Okay.
he comes back regardless. Just my opinion. I think he returns regardless because well, we can get into this in a
Yeah, and
different.
we will. We'll talk
We'll
about it
get into
after.
this.
This is more about this game.
For me, I think our special teams plays terrible. I think special teams keeps it close. We miss a field goal, we miss an extra point.
Ooh.
That being said, defense plays amazing. Offense gets the job done. We win 19 to 14 with a missed 2 point conversion in the last 3 to 4 minutes of the game after a touchdown. We'll be down 14-13, touchdown, missed 2 point conversion, hold Clemson. Very similar ending to last year.
Wow.
19 to
Yeah, very
14,
similar.
South Carolina. I can see the defense playing great. I think Brian Thomas has a good game, and I think the defensive backs play stellar. Cisse, Kilgore specifically. I'm excited. 19-14.
Nice. And hopefully a lot of BTJ, like we said. And that sounds like fun to watch, and I will
Yeah.
take it. Being down that late and missing the 2 point is, but that's the kind of stuff that does happen in this game. So we'll see. Um, Look, Carolina fans, it's been a tough season. Savor this one. It's not very often that we're at home that we're favored in a season like this. Clemson, it has not gone the same way. This would go a long way towards making us feel a lot better about this year. And saving Coach Beamer from his worst record as a Gamecock, which is something that management's going to look at for sure. And, Take a lot of momentum into next year with no bowl game. They're going to get a bowl game even if they lose this game, so they get another game to do whatever. We don't, so we got to bring it here heavy.
This is our bowl game.
Yeah, it really is. It's the rest of the year. But really enjoyed having you guys with us for a full season. Thank you for liking, subscribing if you like what we're doing. Definitely drop a comment. Let us know what we missed, what else you want to see in this Clemson Carolina game for all the marbles. And that is gonna do it on another episode of Alumni Game for the 2025 season. And have me saying, Alumni,
Game.
Cox.
Game.
Clemson sucks.
Do
Tiger
do do do
Burn.
do do do
Woo!
do do do.